Welcome back to Cross Country, number 2 podcast for Cross Country, Carl. But this is Don Pierce and Carl Kuntz. We welcome back to Track is Our Field. Carl, before we get into some cross country action, we just need to finish up. Track and field kind of finished up there in Tokyo with the World Championships. And, man, there were some great things that happened. First thing is, I'm just excited about the 4x1 men. We actually got to stick around.
Got to stick around and won that thing. Sure did. If we get to stick around, we can usually win.
A world-leading 37:29 is what they ran.
Yeah.
Wasn't a meet record or anything, but still just in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
They had heat. What were they in lane? Was it the men's 4x4 that they were in the lane 1 and it was a ankle-deep water?
Yeah, because of the mishap. They got because of the mishap in the prelims, they got to go in.
And then the women ran 41:75, so that's 2 gold medals for the Americans. Great to see that happening. And then in the 4x4, the women, ran 3 minutes 16.61, which was a meet record.
Yep.
For the world's 3:16.
Wasn't even challenged. They burned them up. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone didn't even have to run hard. She was far ahead. And I noticed that Femme Cabot, she was in third. I don't think she's trying to catch third. I think she realized she couldn't do it and just held on to what she had because she was not running hard.
Not like we've seen.
Not like I've seen her do. Either she was hurt or something, but she did not seem to be wanting to try to catch her.
I was going to say, I think deep down she knew there wasn't any hope there for sure on that end. And then in the men's, Botswana won it at 2:57.76.
Of course, the American men, some of those guys had to run it 3 times in 2 days because remember they had that little mishap with the baton, and then they had to run it again that second day, and I think that might have taken a little bit out of them.
And for Botswana, that's their first gold medal as a country, and there was a big celebration there in their country about that, which is I think is awesome in that part.
I predicted that before it happened because I was seeing all those 400 people what they had done in the semis and all. So they had some good ones.
And then in the women's discus, American Valerie Allman again.
Continues her domination in it.
And she doesn't look like a thrower, and back in the day when you thought of throwers. She doesn't the typical what you think of as a thrower, but man, golly.
She has got that speed on it. She can get that thing. She got the speed with her feet. You got to be able to move on your feet. And she's strong, no doubt about it. But she's not a big hulky lady.
No, she like I said, it's just that speed in the ring and how she releases. But then Daniel, I'm not even trying to say his name, from Sweden. He went 70.47, which is a season best for him to win the gold.
Yeah.
And then the 5,000, that was unbelievable.
Redemption for Cole Hocker.
Unbelievable where he was sitting.
Yeah.
That last lap.
Of course, it wasn't far, but he wasn't that far behind. He was just in like 12th place, but they were all right there.
Yeah, but that was just to make that
52 something on the last 400.
And people don't understand that 52 after 5,000 meters on your.
And it wasn't a slow pace.
No. He ran 12:58.30 for the gold, and like you said, after getting DQ'd in the 1500.
That was just a bad situation there. He had no. He couldn't go forward. He couldn't go right. He couldn't drop back. People were surrounding him. The only way he could do is kind of squeeze the way through there. He was obviously able to go faster than those guys. So I'm not saying he shouldn't have been disqualified, but it was just a bad situation for him.
Well, after I watched it again several times, he caused the guy to check up.
Yeah, he did.
And that's, as a referee, you've got to look at the video and you say you changed his cadence and you changed his.
And they let that guy in. Of course, he finished last in the finals.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not. He probably should have been disqualified, but it was just a bad situation. With those guys, the ability they are, if you don't run 1,500 meters instead of 1,520,
right.
So running out in lane 2 is not the answer. You can do that if you're a lot better than everybody else. But in that field, another example, the 800, there was less than 9/10 of a second between first and last place. So if you run in lane 2 for 3 curves, that's going to be more. That's going to be more than the distance between first and last. So you're not going to win if you have to run in lane 2 all the way.
And in the 800 meters, I know that is a sprint. I mean, you go Emmanuel or whatever from Kenya goes 1:41.86.
Under 51 for 2 laps.
I mean, that's just blows my mind. I can't just even comprehend that.
Being a guy that ran the 880 yards, I can't, you know.
And that was a meet record.
Yeah.
There.
Of course, those guys can probably run the 445, 46.
Right. True.
Yeah.
And then Lilia, another Kenyan, won the women's and won 62 for a meet record. So both 800s were new meet world championships.
But a whole bunch of those ladies ran PRs. Even the ladies from England ran some of the greatest times of the year.
Right.
You know,
And then in the shot put, our world record holder had been hurt all year.
Ryan Krauser.
I mean, he's been hurt. This was his first meet. They allowed him in the meet, even just to allow
Because
him.
he had won the year before.
Right.
That's why I was in.
But to get in and then to win it when all these other guys have been training all year, and he's a beast.
I've never talked to him personally, but he certainly seems like a class act, like many of those athletes do. Ryan Krauser, you listen to his interview.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and watch what he does in the competition. He's always very sportsmanlike to his competitors and the officials. And most of them are.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I really like him.
And then our man in the 200 meters,
Yep.
Noah, he comes
He did
out
his thing there, didn't he?
1952 on that. And then in the women's part, another American, Melissa Jefferson Wooden, goes
Double.
21:68 for a world leading time for that meet. Not a meet record, but USA claims that.
She got the 100 and 200.
Yes, she did. She did. The 400 hurdles, USA takes that 46:52. Women's goes 51:54. Just trying to bounce through here where we don't get caught up. Get to the 400 meters, Sydney.
Sidney McLeod. Oh, my goodness. I saw a deal a few days ago, the nominees for the European Athlete of the Year. And there were about 10 ladies nominated. Of course, Sydney's one of them. To me, that's hands down. That shouldn't be a difficult decision. Sydney, she's the only one in that group that set a world record. And in the men, same thing. They had about 10 men. How can you pick anybody besides Mondo Duplantis?
Yes.
He set 3 or 4 world records this year. Nobody else in that group had set a world record this year. So, to me, in my mind, even though Mondo, he's Sweden, but he's really American. He's born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana.
And then we talked last time too in the long jump. Davis Woodall, she goes 7.13 meters pole vault.
She didn't wait till the last jump to do it this time, though.
She did it early. And then Duplantis goes 6.30 for a world record. And then Katie Moon, I got to visit with her at Kansas State last year.
Yeah.
Very, very nice lady. The crowd, they allowed, because she was the last one vaulting, the meet was over, and they let the crowd come up on the track around the pole vault area. It was awesome. And they were into it, clapping, and she brings it down,
Yeah.
And so
Kind of reminds me of down at the GAC meet last year when the men's javelin went on, nothing else was going on.
Right.
Everybody gathered around. Those javelin kids loved it.
So, but she's really a class young lady, and I enjoyed getting to visit with her there. But anyway, let's get on into cross country. But that was some great track. If you were a track fan, you watched it.
Yeah.
And Peacock and all those places.
Yeah.
And it was the thing that I hate. It wasn't advertised to me enough.
No.
You didn't see it on NBC as much. Going, okay, go over to Peacock, go over to here. It's on there.
Yeah.
You just didn't get it pushed out there like it should, in my opinion.
Most people don't even know it exists. They think in track and field, it's the Olympics every 4 years. That's just as big as the Olympics in the world of track and field. It's a world championship, the same as the Olympics. But most people didn't even know it was even going on.
Yeah. That's what's, they go, well,
Need to
why?
advertise it more.
There's no viewership. There's no, but, well, again, nobody in America knew it was going on.
Yeah.
Their crowd there, I was looking at numbers, it was average like 60,000 a day.
It's full up. The folks from Japan appreciate track and field.
And two, they missed the Olympics.
Athletics.
They did all that to get ready for the 2020s, and then they had COVID, and they didn't get to go, but they made up for it. And I mean, those athletes had to love that. You got 60,000 people in there rocking when you're running, or you're clapping, getting you ready for the long jump or whatever.
Yeah.
That had to just be a neat time to go there. Well, Carl, they've had a lot of cross-country meets since we last talked. Give me a little scoop on meets and what's been going on cross-country-wise.
Well, to qualify this a little bit now, you know that cross-country courses can vary in their difficulty as well as the actual distance, unfortunately. Some courses are a little short are a little long. So some of the times I'm going to give you here, we don't know sometimes how they are. For example, we had a kid earlier this year ran 14:46 in the 5K. I noticed the other day he ran 15:55. So was he that much off? Probably not. One of the courses is either slow or fast. Don't know which. I have a feeling the 14:46 might have been a little short because he wasn't the only one that ran fast.
Right.
And I don't want to take anything away from him because he's a great runner. I've lunged through here, and I've gone through some of the favorites right now. On Mile Split, for people, if you want to interest in there, you can do a virtual meet.
Okay.
Based on this season's times. Now, that's more accurate in track season.
Right.
But in cross country, as I said, because varying difficulties of the course, somebody gets on a fast course, okay, they're going to look like the favorite. So, and look, in 6A girls, we had 33 girls in 6A girls that have run under 20 this year.
Wow.
33 of them have run under 20. And the girls, top 5 girls, Rogers. It's Rogers, Bentonville, Rogers, Jonesboro are the top 5 girls I ran. Lily Bashirs, which is a well-known one, 16:47. Sam, I'm going to miss her name, Schmersall, SCHMERSAHL of Rogers, 17:46. Flannery O'Daniel from Bentonville, a freshman, 17:47. Then Hattie Ray Bashirs, a little sister of Lily, sophomore, 17:49. And junior from Jonesboro, Lauren Thompson. We talked about her last week, 18:69. So if you look at the rankings right now, then based on the times turned in this year, Rogers with 26, Bentonville with 40, Bentonville West 103, Cabot 167, Mount St. Mary. So that's your current rankings, I guess, if you will, right now. On the boys, there are 17 boys have run under 16, and 73 in 6A have run under 17.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
either fast courses or some quality
athletes.
I think it might be a little of both. Brian Burns, whose dad is a women's distance runner coach for University of Arkansas, moved in in January. He's run 15:00.30. Alan Gallardo Lopez, who won the state cross country meet last year, 15:14. Sean Burns, younger brother of Brian, he's a sophomore. Bentonville, 15:22. Logan Hurley, a senior of Bentonville, 15:26. And then Braden Palmer of Fort Smith Southside, 15:31. That's your top 5. And Fayetteville, Southside, and 3 Bentonvilles. And the team scores, of course, Bentonville ranked number 1. Virtual meet would be 24 points. Second with Fayetteville was 78. Fort Smith Southside, who's come up in cross country, they're doing a lot better than they used to. 104. Bentonville West 106, and Cabot 176. So that's your rankings right now for 6A.
Well, Carl, what do you think's bringing that type athlete? I know we're talking courses, and you get a muddy day, you get hills in some courses, you got some courses that are flat. I mean, we're looking at 6A. We're not talking statewide, but why do you think? Is it because it's so competitive in Northwest Arkansas? Great training from coaches. I've got where I'm going in that, but why do you think that there's just such outstanding things going on in Northwest Arkansas, from Southside to Bentonville West? I mean, that whole area. Why do you think that there's such great times keeps popping from up there?
Well, this is my theory or hypothesis, I guess it is. I believe that it took a lot of years before the John McDonald influence took place in Northwest Arkansas. And I think that's one of the things going on. It became more popular. John McDonald, what he did at the University of Arkansas, it made it more popular. And a lot of his athletes are coaching there now,
Right.
Carlton Eford was the first one.
Yes.
And then you got Michael Power. Just a couple of examples, and others have come along that have the love for cross country. And then, of course, the competition, the spirit. I mean, if so many of them are good now, it's not just one school up there that's good.
Right.
And they've gotten real competitive in this, and it's serious business for them. So those things are all in my ideas or hypotheses as to why they're so strong. And of course, they're larger schools.
Right.
That's where most of the big schools are. So you got a lot of kids to choose from. You're going to usually come up with a lot more good runners.
Well, and like you're saying, that John McDonald vibe up there, and athletes going and coaching at different schools and asking in that. And again, I mean, it's amazing when we have the state indoor or the outdoor meet. The competition, well, Fayetteville's in the lead. Well, you can see the Bentonville people getting gathered up, or if it's Bentonville, we got to do this to win.
Yep.
And I, it's fun to watch. To just see the competition that goes on. But then after it's all over, everybody shakes hand and great job.
Well, it should be.
And that. But, yeah, the 6A is going to be fun. At Oaklawn, again, state championships at Oaklawn.
Yeah.
And,
worked on the course yesterday. The best shape it has ever been. Well, this summer we didn't have any droughts. Around Hot Springs we didn't.
Right.
And we got plenty of rain. Of course, they do some irrigating too, but they didn't have to do much irrigating. The grass is, and it's more smooth. Not some of those little stubbles, because it's grass growing over the whole thing. So the course is going to be better than it's ever been.
That's November 7th, 6th,
November
7th.
6th and 7th. And I know I said I'd get you the dates, which classifications of each one. I haven't got that yet, but the Lake Hamilton Invitational is going to be a week earlier this year. It's going to be October the 11th. So less than 2 weeks will be the first meet on that course. And like I say, then the state meet.
Well, it's again, we're beating it to death. Great venue, great place. Oaklawn, the family there that owns that, and to allow us as a state
Mr. Sella.
to use that facility. And again, it's just fan friendly, in a great environment, and it's just fun to go and watch all that.
If you think cross country is not a spectator sport, you need to show up at a meet at Oaklawn. And see, and not just that course. There's other courses there too, but especially if you're willing to move around a little bit. I mean, you don't have to be a great runner. Although some people run from spot to spot, you can walk from spot to spot and get in the kid's face several times. We've beat that to death too. But
all right, so we're going to 5A here. What do we got on this virtual championship?
Yeah, 5A girls. Sophomore Emma Fowkes of Vilonia has run 18:25. Juliana Arnold of Little Rock Christians 19:37. Kagan Van Dyke of Siloam Springs, 1945. Hallie Baber of Lake Hamilton, 1956. And Brendel Brunet of Lakeside, 2007. That's your top 5. If your rankings now, based on the virtual scores, Mountain Home was 68, Greenwood 94.5. Must be tied with somebody there. Lake Hamilton was 106, Vilonia 135, Little Rock Christian with 143. So
it'll be fun to keep up with that through mile splits as the times change during the course of the season and how these bounce back and forth. But, sometimes it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Like I said, in track and field, it's very accurate almost.
Yeah.
That you can keep up with that.
Well, there again, it'd be interesting. Somebody that's not even in that top 5 might win it, because if some of these top ones maybe have run a fast course and other schools hadn't run on a fast course yet this year. And when they do, get the head-to-head. In fact, I believe I'm correct that Lake Hamilton, Greenwood's ranked number 2, Lake Hamilton's 3. I believe Lake Hamilton beat Greenwood at Russellville last Saturday.
Yep.
So you never know. The senior boys, Jackson Free of Mountain Home ran 14:46. I don't know. He's a good runner. I don't want to underestimate him at all. But then he ran over a minute slower on another course. So you never know really why. Garrett Barr from Mountain Home also ran 15:19. I think he did it on that same day that Free did on 14:46. Hudson Harper's number 3 from Lakeside, 15:59. Trenton Smith of Mountain Home, 16:04. And Jamar Britton of Lakeside is 16:07. That's your top 5. So that would put Mountain Home ranked number 1, virtual score of 25. Siloam Springs with 111. Lakeside with 130. Little Rock Christian with 156. And Lake Hamilton with 209. That's your top 5 rankings right now. And I say this, in Class 6A, how many schools participate in cross country? There are 18 6A schools. 17 of those play football, and 18 of them run cross country.
There you go.
Yeah, there's more cross country schools than there are football. Don Tyson School of Innovation don't play football, and they run cross country. In 5A, there are 32 schools in 5A, and all but 2 field cross country teams. And those are from the same county, Jefferson County.
Right.
Pine Bluff and Whitehall do not field cross country. Anyway, that's your 5A.
And as we get ready to go to 4A, I just want to reach out to our sponsors. I want to thank Tommy Howard, financial advisor out of Little Rock, with Edward Jones, Again, as we've said before, former track coach, former track athlete, Arkansas State, around Earl Bell and all those guys, and Guy Kotchell. His phone number is 501-224-7699. We thank Tommy for his sponsorship. Also, the Arkansas Track Coaches Association that have helped purchase the pod equipment. We want to thank them for that.
And Steve Qualls.
In the shirt you're wearing right now.
Yeah, Steve Qualls at Design Lab, formerly known as Locker Room Athletics. He has been a very good supporter of our athletic programs here in this county and beyond. And
well, you hear him on the Buzz that they buy they do all the Buzz 103.7 the Buzz. Their gear that they give out or they wear. He's big into that.
He got a big contract with Oaklawn as well, and he does great work.
He does.
He's gonna make it right for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank those.
Yes. In 4A girls. South Arkansas girl number 1, Azul Garcia from Warren, 1903. Riley Ferris of Heber Springs, 1921. Ellie Eccles of Arkadelphia, 1953. Arkadelphia's come back on the map here.
Yes, sir.
Virginia Brantley of Episcopal Collegiate, 20 minutes and 11 seconds. Alice Kroom of Pulaski Academy, 20:30. That's your top 5 girls as far as times run this year. Your team score. Top 5 girls, Episcopal Collegiate was 82, Pottsville 109, Gravett 128, Heber Springs 152, Pea Ridge 153. Heavy Central Arkansas people there in 4A.
I was going to say, spread out a little bit in 4A. You got kids from Warren, Arkansas to, that in Arkadelphia that you hadn't heard from in a while back involved in running well.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of kids, a lot of schools got some good runners that not too many years ago didn't even run cross country.
Correct.
They're getting after it there. And the boys, we got Bryce Allen of Shallow Christian, Matthew Thurman of Shallow. They run 15:20 and 15:34. Ethan Lacey of Pottsville, 16:11. Eli Moody of Pottsville, 16:23. Paxton Chernota of Gravett, 16:24. That's your top 5 boys there. And the team score, virtual score, Shallow Christian, needless to say, with 37, Pottsville 69, Gravett 92, Pea Ridge 100, and Arkadelphia 196.
Well, it's cool to hear about Pottsville because we had a gentleman that used to do our decathlon and heptathlon with the point system that was Pottsville School that was the head of our decathlon. George Jones, not George Jones.
You mean more recently?
No, back in the day that wrote the book.
George Jones.
George Jones.
Yeah.
George. That he gave a lot of his land to build that new school there at Pottsville.
Yeah, and we had the state cross country meet in Pottsville on his land.
But it's
operate out of his house.
Yeah. but to hear Pottsville back in the hunt, that's pretty cool. But George, he was a big time track guy and loved it. And
he's a walking encyclopedia about track and field.
He printed a little book back in the day.
Yep, I got it. Sure do. Wish I had his signature on it.
Yes, sir. That would have been something.
Let's see, did I do AAA here? Yes, Class 3A, boys, Caleb McFarland of Maumelle Charter. We saw him over at Lakeside. He ran about 3 meets within about 9 days there. 15:51, Dathan Haberstroth of Providence Academy. He's just a sophomore. 15:53, Tristan Rogers of Jesseville, 16:10. Winston Harp of Providence, 16:31, and Jacob Sparlin of Dover, 16:32. That's your top 5 boys' times. And, of course, a virtual score. Providence Academy wins it with 45. Then Maumelle Charter, 60. Jesseville, 73. Genoa Central, 78. Fade in 199. Right. We got attachments to 2 of those top 5 schools. Don, you at Jesseville, my alma mater, Genoa Central.
Genoa, that's it.
These are Providence Academy on top, but the next 4 Central and South Arkansas schools.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's go back to the girls now. Okay, for the girls, this is the Gabby Bishop show. Gabby Bishop, 16:59 from Providence Academy. Maggie, her sister's number 2, is 17:30. Jane Adams of Providence Academy, 18:14. Mal McFarland, little sister of the boy from Maumelle, 19:19. And Layla Malin of Providence Academy, 19:44. and 6 is Providence Academy. So 5 out of the top 6 girls are Providence Academy. I think it's no surprise that the top team would be ranked Providence Academy with 17 points, Hass Hall 97, Maumelle Charter 117, Elkins 142, Genoa Central 151. That's your Class 3A.
And they've got it rolling there. They've popped up here in the last few years. They've got some great girls there that run, but you can tell they're putting the time in.
Yeah,
They're and trying to get better with it.
Last year was their first year to be a member of the Arkansas Activities Association.
Yeah.
They were good before that, but they weren't in our association. AA or 2A girls, I still want to call it AA. Audra Bethia of Hampton, 1941, hey, South Arkansas.
That's it.
Miley Crow of Washita, 2150. Caitlin Norris of Quitman, 2153. Madeline Varville of Quitman, 2201. And Addison Owens of Cedar Ridge, 2212. Team scores for those ladies: Quitman 22, Danville 83, Magnet Cove 95, Conway Christian 99, Ozark Catholic 102. The top 4 are from Central Arkansas. Boys.
And you wonder why there's a pause here. We're moving our computer around
Yeah,
to be able to pull that up.
2A boys: Ben Frederick of Ozark Catholic 1727, Andrew Day of Parker's Chapel 1732, Liam Burney of Ozark Catholic 1742, Andrew Day of Parker's Chapel 1750, William Hightower of Ozark Catholic 1756 are your top 5 boys times this year. And team scores, why is it hesitating here? Here it is: Ozark Catholic 26, Mountainburg 77, Caddo Hills 102. Caddo Hills is rising back from a little bit downfall. Coach Cromit returned to the helm there. Parker's Chapel 125 and Sloan Hendricks 130 are your top 5 2A
schools that are ranked there.
Yes.
The thing that I'm liking, Carl, as you're doing that and you're moving the computer around, is just the balance throughout the state. You know, like we talked about the 6A Northwest, but you're seeing the Magnet Coves, the Caddos, Maumelle Charter. I mean, it's bounced. It's not just, okay, everything's Northwest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's balanced. A young leading from Hampton, Arkansas. A girl leading from Warren, Arkansas. I mean, it is spread out. And if coaches spend the time, those kids are going to get out and perform, those athletes, and you train them. It doesn't matter where you are. If it's, Hamburg, CrossFit, whatever. If you get out and put the time in with those kids, they're going to get out and perform and do things. And
especially when you get to schools that are more similar size.
Right.
It's spread out around the state. Northwest Arkansas, the bigger schools up there.
It's tough.
Taking nothing away from them, but
No.
there's more than one reason that they're dominating in 6A. This is the boys in 1A. Alec O'Neill of Kirby, 1708. Connor Hopper of Magazine. Nathan Pate of Guy Perkins. Waylon Paget of Rural Special and Micah Dunn of Bradford are your top 5 boys. And Rural Special is your top ranked one for 34 points. Kingston 62, Hermitage 89, Crawley's Ridge 108, County Line 111 are the boys in A, and the girls, bear with me just a moment. Here they are. You got Missy Wilson of Viola, Phoebe Harper of Magazine, Emma Kivel of Kingston, Anna Swinney of Bradford, Kaylee Harrison that's Hanson of Emerson, and those are your top 5 girls. Missy Wilson times 21:26 is your leading time. And your virtual scores be Kingston at 1, Hermitage 65, Rural Special 78, Founders Classical Academy 103, and Maynard 113. That's all your classifications where they rank right now based on those times that we'll take with a grain of salt.
So,
courses.
Do you have any meets that are coming up here in the next couple of weeks that are kind of those meets that you go, when we see what comes out of that, we'll have a better understanding of who's going to be at the top?
Yes.
That computer got
hold on. Here we go. Yeah, here we are. Well, meets today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 meets being held today around the state. You got a Paragould meet, one in Huntsville, one in Batesville, the National Scrapper Invitational, Conway, the Wampus Cat Invitational, are all today. Later this week, in surrounding areas, you got Memphis, Hoka Frank Horton Night Classic in Memphis. And then, of course, you got the biggest meet in Arkansas, one of the biggest in the country, Chili Pepper Festival in Fayetteville is this Saturday. The Dragon Country Invitational down at Genoa Central will be this Saturday. Ozark Hillbilly in Ozark, all this Saturday. So from southwest Arkansas to northwest Arkansas to northeast Arkansas, you got meets to go.
Well, and just like we talked about the first cross-country podcast, used to couldn't find a meet, and now just like today, you got 5 or 6 going on. You got the big one in Fayetteville, the Chili Pepper, where they come from all over the nation up there to run. It's outstanding times on that. And again, conference meets will start coming up here in a few weeks, and then getting ready for, because we're tomorrow's October, and we're basically 5 weeks away from state. I guess 5 weeks away from state, and we're going to see more and more, and we're going to start seeing times change, and the virtual scores change, and it's going to be an exciting time that way.
Next Monday you got a meet in Lamar, and Tuesday you got Cave City and Bryant, the Dan West Book Invitational on Tuesday. So between now and next Tuesday, you got all those meets. 6 of them and 3. You got 12 meets within this next week.
And just, again, the state meets, the 6th and 7th at Oaklawn, the All-Star meet, Oklahoma-Arkansas meet, does that usually happen 2 weeks later after that?
1 week after. So it'll be the Saturday after, so it'll be the 15th of November there at Rogers High School. We started that in 1994.
I think so.
It's been going. That was it.
And I think that same weekend, too, will be the West Regionals for the NCAA, or the regional meet at the U of A's November.
So if the timing's right, you can go to Rogers and to Fayetteville, one or the other, whichever comes first. If the timing's right, we can do both.
So, but that's also that weekend in Fayetteville Collegiate.
Maybe we need to get the All-Star meet, make sure it's at a time that's different.
Can see both.
From that.
Can see both. Well, again, we want to thank you for listening. Again, we're excited about cross-country season, what's coming there November 6th and 7th at Oaklawn. And again, we want to thank Edward Jones, Tommy Howard, the Arkansas Track Coaches Association, and
Steve Qualls at Design Lab.
We want to thank you, and we want to thank you for listening. And hopefully we'll have another one of these podcasts ready to go next week as well. This is Don Pierce, Carl Kuntz. Track is our field / right now cross country. We'll talk to you soon.
See you next time.